Hey guys, how's it going and welcome to a new video. So I'm not sure if this is something I'm going to do every week, but since the Premier League is so hyped up at the minute, obviously it starts tomorrow, I thought I'd basically do a preview of this week's Premier League fixtures. So to start things off, we have the reigning champions Leicester versus Hull City on Saturday at 12:30. I think it's the perfect game for Leicester to start their Premier League season. Obviously there's a lot of debate, are they going to do it this season, are they not? Personally, I don't think they're going to hit the heights they did last season, but starting up against a promoted team is definitely a good way to go about it. On the other hand, because Hull have just been promoted, in theory they should be confident rising off the win from the Championship. So it could be a good game. Honestly, I think Leicester will win the game. If you want to put Leicester players in your fantasy league team this season, it's definitely not a bad shout getting Vardy in there. If he gets a goal or two in this game, it could propel him onto having a good season. So obviously there are plenty of games on Saturday at 3 o'clock, but the one that I've pointed out is Burnley versus Swansea. I think Burnley are going to be wanting to ride off their Championship win and start the Premiership in style. Gray obviously wanting to prove himself, whereas Swansea, I think they've lost a lot of good players over the last season or so, and they haven't necessarily replaced them with appropriate replacements. I think this could be a scoring draw. I don't know who's going to win it, but for fantasy league purposes, I think Gray would definitely be a good shout. It wouldn't surprise me to get his first home goal of the Premiership against Swansea. Looking at the rest of the games, we've got Middlesbrough versus Stoke. God knows what's going to happen with that one. Middlesbrough are defending really well, and I'm not sure about Stoke's attacking prowess. I think that's got a draw written all over it, especially both teams not wanting to lose their first game of the season. Crystal Palace versus West Brom. West Brom are going to walk in there and park the bus. The question is, will Crystal Palace break it down? It'll either be, for me, a 0-0, maybe a 1-0 at Crystal Palace. If West Brom get a goal, could be 1-1. Potentially one of the more exciting games of the 3 o'clock is Everton versus Tottenham. Everton with their new manager Ronald Koeman, who's going to want to make a good start, and Spurs, who obviously just missed out on the league last season. Again, I don't know how this is going to go. Tottenham could walk it, but if Everton keep a solid back four, they could easily hang on to a draw or maybe even clinch a 1-goal margin win. Southampton versus Watford. I think Southampton again have lost a lot of good players recently, but they are going to want to start this season off well. Shane Long playing up front. If he can replicate some of the good form he had last season, he could easily bang a goal or two. Watford, Troy Deeney, Igalo, both up front, wanting to again replicate their form. It could be a scoring game, it could be 2-2. Moving on to the Saturday evening, we've got Man City versus Sunderland, and to be honest, I think it's going to be a walk in the park for Man City. Obviously, Sunderland coming off a high, managed to stay in the Premier League at the end of last season, but with players like Aguero, De Bruyne, I just don't think Sunderland are going to stand a chance, sadly. If Man City get an early goal, I could see 5-0. If they don't, could be a late win for City. And if you're going to put a captain in your fantasy league this weekend, I think Aguero has to be a certainty. So the first game on Sunday at 1:30 is Bournemouth versus Man U. It is Mourinho's first game in the Premiership with Man United, with players like Ibra and Pogba both starting, wanting to show what they can do in the Premier League. And in the way of Bournemouth, I'm not 100% sure how they're going to set up. They've obviously brought in a couple of players, but realistically, Man U should be winning this 5-0. I've got no idea what will happen. Bournemouth might come out fighting on the big occasion, obviously at home, but at the end of the day, Man U should be winning this 2-3-0. Move on to probably the biggest game of the weekend, which is Sunday at 4 o'clock, Arsenal versus Liverpool. And I think it's anyone's guess what's going to happen in this game. I think whoever wins this game is going to be off to a flyer in the Premier League this season. Whoever loses this game could have a rocky start. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised at drawing this game. Both two big teams, first game of the season, I think would just take the draw so that neither of them lose. I think Liverpool will be very attacking this game, and I think honestly Arsenal will probably be defending a lot more, especially as their attacking options are a little bit thin, having signed no strikers this summer. If I had to put a score on it, I'd probably put 1-1, maybe a 2-1 win in the last minute to either team. Finally, the Monday night Chelsea versus West Ham local derby. Chelsea obviously had a pretty poor season last season, but with a new manager and supposedly Hazard coming back into form, they're going to want to start this season well. But then again, they are playing, as it is a local rival, anything can happen. West Ham with Payet coming fresh out of the Euros, obviously had a great tournament, and Andy Carroll will be starting back up front again after some great form at the end of last season. It honestly wouldn't surprise me to see West Ham grab a win against Chelsea. But yeah guys, I hope you have enjoyed the video. I know my predictions are a bit all over the place, but your guess is as good as mine. The season's just starting, there's been a lot of new signings, and no one actually knows what's going to happen this weekend. Like I said, I'm not sure if this is something I'm going to do every weekend, but you have enjoyed it, do leave a like, and if you're new, please subscribe. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you later. Hey guys, how's it going, and welcome to a new video. So today we are going to be doing my Premier League prediction. If I'm being honest, I've actually been doing this for a while, and I must have changed it about 10 times. I don't really know what I think, but I've given it a go. So to start things off, I've gone with my bottom three of West Brom, Swansea and Hull City.